Hello and a very warm welcome to one and all present here. This is Lakshya Mittal, your host for the day, and I'm connecting live from India. Today, I'm very excited for the masterclass that I've brought you by Recurrent. Our vision at Recurrent is simple, okay? It's to onboard a million of enthusiastic users to the Web3 revolution, and that is why we bring to you a one of a kind masterclass series again, but this time it's deeping dive into Web3. So the world is, heading towards a more interconnected system. Okay. In this, as time passes, different and various industries are working together to bring in better products, innovation, and use cases for the society. And that is where Web3 comes at the stand front. Web3 is all about building communities through the power of decentralization, blockchain, and to top it all off, you. And it is this time that you, me, and the world together deep dive into Web3. But before we, get started towards our masterclass, okay, let me give you a simple sneak peek understanding of what we do at Recurrent. Okay, so as we all know, Web3 is the new internet, and it is meant for anyone and everyone who wishes to be a part of a more, autonomous, efficient, and transparent ecosystem. This is where Recurrent steps in. Recurrent helps Recurrent helps Web3 companies hire the best passive talent across various events at a single point time frame, which means we help Web3 companies hire top passive talent from amongst the attendees of events that are listed on our platform. So if you're a Web3 company and you're looking to hire candidates, you can directly, log into our platform and look for, host your, list your jobs on our platform and hire from amongst the attendees. And on the same page, if you're an event organizer and would like to get incentivized for hosting events, okay, then definitely come on our page, list your events, and help companies hire good and passive talent from amongst your audience. Now, moving ahead. Today, we have more than 80 plus companies offering a plethora of jobs to all of you. We are also providing, minted NFTs um, to each one who is attending this event. So if you are attending this event from any other point of stream, let it be YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter, I'd like you to hop on to the Recorum website, log in, connect your wallet, and get a chance to get a get a chance to take a thing to remember back from today's event. With that, giving you a simple understanding, Recorum connects Web3 professionals to Web3 companies through Web3 events. Now, today I'll acknowledge our partners InSync Studios and sponsors RA3 Global as well as Talent Sync for helping us organize this event today. With that, let this is now the time where we bring in the speaker for today. Talking about the speaker, he is the co-founder of InSync Studios. He's a person who's very enthusiastic and is, basically all in towards Web3 and developing. To not give, to not bring a differentiation in the introduction that I give for him, let me invite you him on the screen and let him himself, give the introduction today. Aman, can we have you on screen?
Hey, Lakshya. I'm,
Hey,
I'm very
Aman,
well.
can you hear me properly?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah,
Awesome, great. So, hi Aman, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, man. Thank you for having me here.
Definite. I hope you're doing well and good. So let's start with with the first basic question: who is Aman Sharma? What is he doing at InSync Studios? And
Mhm.
what is InSync Studios?
Sure, man.
Let's go
Sure.
with that.
Yeah, sure, man. So, thanks for having me again. And so, a very short introduction I'll try to give about me. So, um, I'm the co-founder of InSync Studios, which is a Web3 product studio. And as a Web3 product studio, our core goal is to help people, help builders and creators bring their ideas to reality, bring their product ideas to reality. You see, a lot of people are there who I've met a lot of people who are into this Web3 space. They are deeply, you know, they embedded into this ecosystem. They purchase NFTs, they trade crypto, they do a lot of stuff, but they are not coders. So we are those people who help those people, right?
Okay.
So our core goal is to help them, and also to bring about such amazing products to life, because after all we are product builders. So yeah, I
Okay.
hope that covers what I do.
Okay. So, understanding this, you're basically helping other companies build their dream projects. Correct.
Indeed, indeed.
Okay.
Companies, founders, any individual who, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
basically.
basically whoever wants to explore Web3, correct, and
Yes.
that's all. Okay,
Hmm.
so understanding this, could you give us a history of how did you end up in Web3? What
Hmm.
made you stay in this industry, or what fascinates you more? Okay,
Hmm.
something around
Hmm.
these things.
Sure, sure. So I ended up in Web3 around a year ago. So
Okay,
what happened was, there were multiple things which I was seeing coming in front of me from this
okay,
ecosystem. So one example would be, of course, the NFT. You can say the whole NFT news that came up. So I was a little confused initially, like why are people using JPEGs? Right, the typical
that is
question.
a very like controversial yet
Yeah.
very
Yes,
amazing
that's
standpoint. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, exactly right. That's I think that's controversial, but it is a question that comes to a beginner's mind in
correct.
Web3, right? Right. Up until that point, I was just you can say a person who is building products, who loves to build products, right? So and then enters Web3 in my life. So I started exploring some NFTs. Of course, Bored Ape was the one.
Okay,
Exploring, by exploring, I mean I started to see what sort of things they are doing.
so did
I
you buy
didn't.
any?
Yeah, I couldn't, of course.
Okay,
But yeah, yeah. So I started exploring that, and then I realized, okay, there's a lot more behind it. It's not just JPEGs, right? So
okay,
then there comes what is a non-fungible token. So basically, I started from NFTs. Then I started to explore decentralization. I had some context of blockchain before, because as a developer, you explore stuff here and there, right?
correct.
Right. So
Yeah.
I had some context of that, distributed systems, and a little bit of blockchain, right? So I deep dived into it, and then I realized, okay, this is something game changing. This is something
Okay.
game changing, and then ideas start to flow, right? Then
Okay.
ideas start to flow. Okay, this might work, that might work, and I think the first point where I really started to dive deep into this ecosystem was, I think. I think it was the hackathon which was happening, which was organized by Polygon, Biddle It
Okay.
hackathon, if you remember, right? So yeah, that grabbed my attention. Up until that point, I have experimented with some dApps. Basically, I
Okay.
I have tried developing some dApps and everything, and then okay, then I got seriously into it, and then was the decision that we made to, why not just leave everything and start building products, man. This is I Decentralization is something which I found really game changing, and then
Okay.
I just combined it with product building skills, and here we are.
So, what do you think is decentralization? Like, for
Uh,
I
but-
have a very
yeah.
different take on it. Okay.
Mhm.
So, I'll
Mhm.
let you go first, and then I'll say.
Indeed, indeed. So, in my point of view, decentralization is, of course, see, technically, yeah, distributed systems. Yeah, there is data is not stored in one place; it's in multiple places, replicated in
Right.
multiple places, right? But in my point of view, I sort of see it as, I explain it to people this way. If somebody asks me what is a blockchain, how do what is it, right? So I say, just imagine you are living in a society, right? And
Okay.
there are a lot of aunties in society, right? Right. So let's say, and what does aunties do normally? They spread rumors, at least the funky ones, right?
Okay.
So what happens is, if somebody tries to spread a rumor, it easily gets spreaded, because there is no Byzantine fault tolerance happening there. So what can be done to solve that? one thing can
Okay.
be done. A consensus protocol can be established among aunties, right? So if somebody comes up with a rumor, five aunties are there. One comes up with a rumor. Four will be there to agree with each other and shut off the fifth one, right? So
Wow.
yeah, right. So what will this create? This will create a ecosystem where there is no false information, first of
Correct.
all, and whatever information is there, it stays. So it's like in Hindi, it's patthar ki lakir. So it stays there, right? So
Okay.
this is one way of explaining this thing.
Okay.
Second is, of course, decentralized, meaning there is no one party, there is no one owner of something.
Okay.
It's entirely decentralized. Entirely, when you talk about decentralization, also, I see a lot of people are building things in a manner that they're calling it decentralized, but it's basically one database behind it, right?
Okay.
So, unless and until there's nothing wrong with that, but
Okay.
unless and until it can lead to a decentralization aspect, there's something in the roadmap. Yeah, then there's something over there, right?
Okay.
So decentralization means that at a point, after a point, whatever you're building as a product, your users should be able to fork that product and reuse it, rebuild it the way they want. They do not need
Okay.
to be dependent on you. And how does that happen? That happens when your data and everything, the logic behind it, it's on blockchain. It's not in a database, it's not on a server, because server and
Correct.
databases cannot be replicated, right?
Okay.
What can be reused is whatever is there on blockchain, right? So that to
Right.
me is decentralization. I hope I answered it.
You definitely answered, but I somewhere feel your understanding is from a developer's side.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? It
indeed.
is. It is
Yeah,
more,
you would say.
I'll say,
Mhm.
aligned to a developer's thought process. Okay.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Right. And that is why
Mhm.
the whole blockchain mesh network thing, and
Mhm.
data is not stored at one place. All of that comes in. Okay.
Mhm, mhm,
I
mhm,
understand it through, like very various perspectives. I understand it through
mhm,
business perspective, psychology as
mhm,
well. Okay.
mhm.
And definitely
Okay.
developer as well. Okay. So I'll tell
Mhm,
you what is decentralization for me. For me, it is basically like a concept. It's a
Sure.
hope which people are having,
Mhm,
okay, to
mhm,
achieve. Okay. Like
mhm,
no one owns me. Okay.
mhm,
No one
mhm,
owns the things I want to own. Okay.
mhm,
And
mhm,
basically, whatever I want and however I want it, I can
mhm.
run it. Okay.
Yes. Mhm,
It's basically this. So people are
mhm,
hoping that this should happen. Okay.
mhm,
It cannot actually happen. But this is a
mhm,
hope, something people want. Freedom in
mhm,
some sense, I'll say. So
mhm,
decentralization is a concept or an ideology which a
mhm,
community of people are thinking that
mhm,
banks cannot control my money, so I would have my decentralized money. Okay. People cannot own my profile and use it for
mhm,
data monetization. I'll have my own data. Okay.
mhm,
I cannot just be shown ads randomly, so I'll
mhm,
see only those ads which I want, and if I am seeing those ads, I want to get paid for it.
mhm, mhm.
Correct. So
Yeah.
that is decentralized. It's basically a concept at a level
Mhm,
where people are wanting to basically reach it. Like
mhm,
everyone wants to become a millionaire, or everyone wants to have peace and XYZ, right? So it's a hope
mhm,
which a community is having that we need to reach to that level.
mhm,
Okay. And this is the ideology they're going ahead, that no one
mhm,
owns me, my data, or
mhm,
things that I want to do. Simply, like, this is
mhm.
what I feel. What do you say?
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. And in fact, you are right, because I'm always thinking about it through a technical perspective. So my definitions would be on that front.
Definitely, I like I said, you
Mm,
have a more
but
developer
yeah,
centric idea.
yes. But what you have explained is actually it's actually an apt representation of this ecosystem. Uh,
Exactly. It's basically an
what's
understanding
happening?
of a
Yeah,
human's, how shall I say it?
yeah.
Pers- per-
Expectations, mind,
exactly.
perspective.
How they
Right.
perceive it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
So, yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
See, this is what I also feel. But today we are talking about something which is called as DAOs.
Yes.
So, which is
DAO
decentralized autonomous organizations.
organization. Yes.
Correct? So, if you had to explain what are DAOs,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in one line, or to a
Mm-hmm.
5-year-old child, how would you do that?
To a 5-year-old child, I would actually say, um, have you heard about? I'll just ask that 5-year-old child. Do you know what
Okay.
companies are? They go, yeah, I know what companies are. Let's imagine a company is running, but the company, I would say, there's a system. You just get orders from that and you fulfill whatever you are assigned, and that's it. That's all you need to do with that company. Rest you can go and live your life. So that's how I would explain it to a child. I think.
Okay, okay, that's actually the most different
Mm, mm,
explanation that I have actually ever heard about.
mm, mm,
Okay, so definitely
mm,
that Aman, that take was very different, because somewhere what I understand is in a DAO, what you are
mm,
trying to explain is that you have to basically, it's like a community. If
mm,
I
mm,
just uh,
mm,
bring an analogy between company and community. Okay,
mm,
so the
mm,
company is a community where you have to go,
mm,
be out
mm,
there, provide
mm, mm,
your efforts and all of that,
mm,
and in
mm.
return you can live your own life. That's all. Correct.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And there will come a point in this ecosystem where this transitions into that your job. I wouldn't say your job. Now you're taking initiatives in DAOs. You are not just doing a job, first of all, right?
Okay,
So you're taking initiatives there. You're taking initiatives in a community. But the reason why
what
I'm
kind of
saying what I'm saying.
initiatives, if you can tell?
So initiatives, as in you're participating actively. I would say participating actively rather than
Okay, so you get
initiatives.
opportunities to
Yes,
showcase your talent,
yes,
or
yes.
okay, okay,
Yes, yes, yes. But the thing is, in normal companies, in normal ways which we used to work, I am envisioning a place when there will be, let's say, the DAOs take over, right? The normal model,
so definitely
right?
I'll show you there's a pattern which I'm following on a geopolitical level. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and
Hmm.
I see that coming in the next 5 years. Okay, it's a pattern which
Totally
I'm
can.
seeing, but
Yeah.
I am
Mm-hmm.
not sure if it'll happen or not, but it is definitely moving towards that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'd agree with that. So yeah, that's
Okay.
what I think. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds definitely amazing from your side as well. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so now is the time when you take you take the stage properly. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
explain us about like what is actually the true potential of DAOs, like today's topic that we have. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so Aman, I'll take your leave for the next 10-15 minutes. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
can start sharing your screen and we can go live with the presentation.
Sure. Okay. Just let me share my screen. Okay. Hmm. So let's get started. So, true potential of DAOs, as we were discussing, let's dive deep into that. Who am I? I think you got an introduction already. Initially, Lakshya gave me a decent introduction. um, but still, I'm a co-founder of InSynk Studios. I'm a developer and a product builder at heart. And as I said, we are helping at InSynk Studios to bring people's Web3 creators' ideas to reality. So that's who I am. So now let's get started. Okay, what is a DAO? Now, already we had a conversation around it, but I'll still attempt to explain it in a little more depth. What is a DAO? So, DAO is basically DAO, right? Uh, but here is a definition which I found on the web. DAOs are blockchain based self governing organizations that enable participants to work toward a common goal on a trustless network. So this definition, I would not say this is a very bad definition. This is actually a very self-explanatory definition. It's not very difficult to understand, but for a Web3 individual, a person who is in Web3, because there are some stuff. Let's say you are in Web2, which you might be, and you have not seen what Web3 is all about and everything. So you might get confused from the terms like blockchain-based self-governing. Self-governing is fine, but blockchain and trustless network, what does this mean exactly? So we'll dive a little more deep into that. Uh, but yeah, this is a self-sufficient definition by itself as well. So DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. What are these three keywords? What does these three keywords mean? Decentralized. I think we already discussed this as well, but let me give it another shot. So decentralized basically means that, uh, first of all, DAO, at the end there comes an organization. So after all, it's going to be a group of people organizing their processes, right? So decentralization, how does that come into picture? So in a DAO, decisions are made collectively rather than by a central leader. So the thing is, there are two. There are the way which an organization can work when DAOs come into picture. There are two ways, right? One is hierarchical and one is heterarchical. So DAOs are very much heterarchical. There are collaborative efforts happening. It's not like one leader is managing everything, and the overall accountability of that works in a hierarchy. It changes. So now people are more, the ones which are accountable are the ones who take up initiatives, right? Who take up a request for proposal, who basically in a DAO, who take up initiatives, and they have taken up accountability. It's not anymore hierarchical. It's much more collaborative. So that is the decentralization aspect of it. Second is autonomous. By autonomous, what we mean is that there should be least, or at a point there should be literally no human interference while making decision. Of course, it's not possible to make entirely non-interferable by humans, but still there needs to be an option for that. So what autonomous means here is, at a point there should be a total independence from human interference. And how does that happen? By setting in processes and coding all those processes out through smart contracts. So this is smart contract, right? What is a smart contract? It's just a bunch of rules which are being coded out, and they will get implemented accordingly. They are set, how they are set, right? So the autonomous aspect here in a DAO, decisions are not made through a leader, via leader or somebody. They are made through voting, and people are exploring different mechanisms of voting, like quadratic voting, token based, tokenless, and a lot of stuff is there. So the autonomous aspect is, we want total independence from human interference. The organization, right? Now this aspect, the word organization, although means a company or organization, we know it like that, but it can be a community, a small group, a big group, and eventually it can also be a big large enterprise. So it can be as small as a small community, and it can be as large as a large enterprise. So these keywords, right? I think they encapsulate the entire ecosystem of DAOs very well. Moving on. So what are the benefits of a DAO? Uh, Benefits of using a DAO, benefits of participating in a DAO. What are the benefits? Let's try to see that. First is global reach. Um, I would say, if there was a time, I would tell my mother or my father that I'm collaborating with somebody from Turkey, from Russia, from Jordan, and all together, right? They would laugh at me. And by collaborating, I mean I'm actively working with them, right? So if that's what I was to say to my parents back some time, it would be ridiculous. But now it is possible. With DAOs, it is easily possible, because there is a point of interaction is very simple. Point of interaction, and also point of compensation is also very simple. After the overall the cryptocurrencies came into picture, that part solved itself basically. So yeah, DAOs can invite broader participation with remarkable swiftness as they pursue their goals of pooling capital, recruiting contributors, and compensating users and contributors. So in a very short sentence, DAOs can actually allow you to create an entire company by remaining entirely decentralized. So yeah, global reach. Second is active contributions. Now, as I said, it's not a hierarchical structure, it's a heterarchical structure. So what's happening there? um, you must have seen, and you, if you are working in a company, of course you must have seen that you have really good ideas, and but there's a hierarchy in which the company is working, right? So there comes a point like either you are not motivated enough to work, or things like that usually happen, right? But in DAO it's quite different, because DAOs, even though it's working towards like, because it is working towards a common goal, every member have voluntarily come into the picture, because they know they can serve something to that goal. And the third thing is they are allowed to in a DAO. So this the ecosystem of DAOs allow people to engage and to also participate. They give every person is given like a decent amount of opportunity to participate well and to contribute well. Then there is better incentives. Now, why would somebody want to participate, right? Why would somebody want to contribute something? So uh, DAOs align long-term incentives by enabling their members to build, own, and influence. These are the three aspects I would say where people are getting incentivized. Building provides opportunities to create. Ownership fosters financial confidence, and influence grants control over outcomes. Uh, as I said, building. A lot of people are there who just are feeling like, I'm not creating enough impact, right? I'm not creating enough impact in my organization. What do I do? They usually get bored, right? But here you go. You have an opportunity to build. You have an opportunity to create. You have an opportunity to contribute. Then there is ownership. You get if you are part of the governance, you get governance tokens, and of course, token value appreciates. Your financial confidence appreciates, and then there is the one which is influence. Now you have a claim to fame. You can say, if you have built something, you had the ideas, you had everything you needed, and you contributed and you built something. Now that influence, you have a claim that you made such an influence by creating something such an amazing thing, right? And then there is decentralization. The dispersed configuration of a DAO helps mitigate groupthink, the effects of localized disasters, and reliance of on intermediaries or central authorities. So this part is basically you have seen multiple you can say organizations die out because some bad leader made some bad mistakes, and either took it too personally or whatever, but they made basically bad choices, right? So such things are very unlikely to happen in such ecosystems, because there is no one decision maker. uh, there is a collaborative effort in making decisions, right? So decentralization sort of takes care of that, right? And eventually what happens is, in a DAO, all you need is one thing. To be able to enter a DAO, to be able to contribute, you just need one thing: skill set. That's it. Types of DAO. Let's get into it. So I've listed down these 5 types of DAO. There are of course more, but these are the ones which you very commonly see appearing. So protocol DAOs are there. A DAO that is designed to govern a decentralized protocol. Decentralized protocol can be anything like borrowing or lending money protocol, decentralized exchange, or any DApp or anything, right? So whoever are building it, whoever are ideating behind it, they operate through a DAO. So Aave and Sushi, these are quite famous ones in that category. Then there is a social DAO. DAOs fostering communities and personal connections by encouraging individuals to share insights. Very This is a very common one which you normally see through NFT projects a lot. For example, Bored Ape Yacht Club is there, and then there is FWB, which is Friends with Benefits DAO, an interesting DAO. Investment DAOs, DAOs that fund early stage projects and businesses, or invest in high end collectibles. So these DAOs are solely focusing on what to invest in, basically. What to invest in. It can be a collectible, it can be companies, businesses. And then there is Media DAO, the ones who are curating and publishing really compelling content. These people, you might have heard about Bankless and Forefront. And then there is grant DAOs, uh, DAOs that fund public goods by providing grants for a specific ecosystem or protocol. Grant DAOs are really interesting because they are the ones who are helping out the ecosystem. They are helping out experimentation to happen in this ecosystem. So if you want to check out these, do check out the examples which I've listed. Some famous DAO tooling. So in this picture, you see tools are categorized in several, utilities. So you, building a DAO is very much similar to building a company, and in a company there are multiple aspects to it, right? So treasury management, which is the finance part, and things like that. So there are these tools available. So like Gnosis Safe is used for creating multi-signature wallets whenever payments need to be dispersed. And knowledge management, you might have seen like Super Team DAO, and those DAOs are using Notion for knowledge management. And content is there, content or product section is there, where you are posting content, public content. So all these tools are available: GitHub, Medium, Figma. And then there is governance and voting, which involves tools like Tally and Snapshot, which is quite famous. uh, Framework DAOs, framework tools. These are the ones which you use to set up your DAO, basically, with a certain set of rules. So Aragon is there, and also Gnosis Safe with a mixture of Snapshot can be used for that. So there are multiple categories of DAO tooling as well. This is something which you explore when you are building a DAO. All these aspects. Introducing Grail. So this is something we are helping On-Chain Labs build as well. It was launched back in June 22. Um, so what is Grail? The most versatile and flexible governance and community platform for DAOs, communities, and organizations. Uh, the biggest thing is that there's a big lacking part in DAOs, which is privacy, first of all. And then there is also Sybil resistance is needed, because a lot of people are just automating a lot of stuff, right? So to sort of mitigate that, Sybil resistance is needed. And then there is also tokenless governance. This is a huge aspect, and Grail is trying to solve all these three. With the Polygon ID integration into Grail, Grail enables tokenless governance as well. And with privacy at heart, you can imagine a point in which you will be able to participate in a DAO by still showing your skill set uh, through a certain way using Polygon ID, while remaining entirely nameless. Nobody will know you; they will just know your credibility. So yeah, Grail is something that we are helping On-Chain Labs build. We are in a development partnership with them. So check it out, app.ongrail.xyz. Currently, we have Polygon DAO running on it. Now coming to the, you can say, the main part of this entire talk, which is true potential of DAOs. First is autonomous future. This is also the way I see DAOs, expanding. Slowly and slowly, a lot of automations need to happen, so that as I said, human interaction should be least. It will be possible to create organizations where taking action does not require any human interaction. As I said, this will not only increase efficiency, but will also obliterate malicious corporate activities. And you know that because of certain biases and stuff like that, a lot of hindrances occur uh, while reaching proper efficiency in an organization, right? So all of that can be cut out. Next is ultimate democracy. So democracy, although we all know that democracy, we are a democratic nation and everything, but there are always uh, sections where corruption is happening and everything is happening. People are finding ways of manipulating the systems, right? So DAOs can lead to ultimate democracy. Slowly and slowly, it can lead to ultimate democracy, because, as I said, autonomy can be achieved, and through autonomy, democracy can be achieved. because who are creating malicious activities are humans. Right? So autonomous once autonomy is achieved, democracy can also be achieved. DAOs can lead to an ecosystem where people can work entirely based on their skills. Decisions will be made collectively rather than by a central leader on an elite ruling body. So this is what I consider as true democracy. Privacy. This is a part where experts are starting to explore stuff on the DAO ecosystem in the DAO ecosystem. So, if properly achieved, which Grail is sort of trying to achieve, uh, and we have sort of achieved it, you can say. So, if it becomes possible, what will be possible is it will be entirely possible for an individual to participate and lead actions in organization or communities based on strong proof of their skills while remaining totally private. By this, we mean that you being a total beginner or you being Mark Zuckerberg, it won't matter. You are still a member of the DAO, and there will be just some claims to prove that you have a certain skill set. So everybody can be treated equally. Now, a question for you. If you are new to this ecosystem, how shall you get started? So if you're looking, which I'm assuming you're looking at DAOs as an exploratory sort of rabbit hole for your career growth. If you're looking in that direction, I would suggest go through these 4 steps. First is fix your goals in your life, not life per se, but in your career at least. Life goals can never be figured out entirely. So fix your goals. So, for example, you're a developer. What sort of development do you want to do? What sort of products do you want to contribute to? So fix that. Then go ahead and find DAOs which are working on these things. It's very much similar to how you get a job, right? But this is much more interesting as well. So, and I'll tell you why. So you can try going ahead and finding DAOs that fits your goals. So let's say you want to work in a media company in Web2. You can go and work. You can go and start contributing in a media DAO, right? Now the next step is to join the DAO community. Now, since things are public, you can see what's happening. You can look at how a company works. Now, this was never possible before, right? You can go ahead and have a look at how company works, what I need to all the resources they are sharing. So it's basically free learning, sorry, on steroids. So you can join that DAO, you can be a part of that community as if you are being a part of that company, and you start to learn how they are working, what are their mannerisms and everything, and then you start to get involved. People will notice, and you'll basically will the whole ecosystem will slowly suck you in as well. That's the most beautiful thing about this Web3 and DAOs, right? So yeah, that's all I had to say. So if you want to stay in touch with me, you can visit InSync Studios. You can also check me out on LinkedIn, on Twitter, nerdycap007, on Twitter, on Telegram, nerdycap. You can just ping me if you want. And I think that's all I had to say. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Hi, hi.
Hey, hey. Yeah,
So amazing one,
correct.
Aman. I like the way you have prepared the docs. Okay, it gives me a very distinct understanding of how you, as an individual as well as a developer, are trying to make people understand what people like whoever is wanting to even enter into Web3, correct? How they can build their careers around it. Okay, how they can reach out to people, what communities they need to enter, okay, and even how you guys are working, right? So that's definitely good, what do you think, how are you feeling now after you're giving this whole presentation?
Really good, really good. I love the vibe that you have created, man. And this is really good. I always love to share a lot about how Web3 uh, people. There are people who are very super, optimistic about everything, I would say being rationally optimistic is the right way. And Web3 is a place where there are a lot of things which are actually solving problems, and I believe DAO is one of that aspects. So yeah, I'd love to share anything about that anytime.
Awesome, awesome. This sounds very well. I guess somewhere around the whole um, presentation that you portrayed, okay, if I were a beginner, okay, I understood the whole process as well, okay, how to basically get that activated enough to enter DAOs, reach out to people, talk to people, understand what type of DAOs can be helpful for me, like if it's a social DAO, if it's this DAO, or if it's that DAO, okay,
Mhm,
what do they provide me back in return? How can I
mhm,
be incentivized, and also how can it help me grow as an individual as well, when
mhm,
I understand the true potential. So definitely in that sense, Aman, really good job on that. And I somewhere feel the work that doing with Polygon DAO, as well as
mhm,
on chain labs. Okay, I
mhm,
hope that I guess somewhere it's working really well. Okay, as much as I know, I have also
mhm,
used the product once. Like I've not
mhm,
used it, I have gone through the website, and also
mhm,
yeah, definitely it looks very amazing. But
mhm.
yes, I am a fan of the work that InSync Studios are doing.
Thank you, Lakshya. We are trying to make really innovative things happen in this ecosystem. Yeah.
Okay, yes, definitely. So with
Mhm.
that, I guess we have some questions that we have already prepared. Okay, which
Sure,
I think could be of benefit to people who are listening to this. Okay,
sure,
and let's go with the first question that we have for today.
sure,
Okay,
sure. Mhm.
so as you can see, what are some of the areas in DAO ecosystem where industry experts are trying to innovate?
Hmm. This is a very interesting question because uh, the ecosystem is changing very rapidly. Because see, the overall ecosystem of DAO is, you can say, it's still in a very nascent stage. Even 1 or 2 years is, I wouldn't say, would finalize things. Like this is how it's supposed to work for the entire eternity. So DAOs, there are some aspects in this ecosystem which are being
Okay,
constantly explored. So a few are, first of all, privacy is there, which I just explained. So privacy in itself is a big offering, you can say, to users. Because uh, if you imagine, there are people who are just shy of participating, even though they are fully capable. Because uh,
okay,
uh, right and also, not only shy, people are there, especially, let's say, investment DAOs, right? People are there who don't want to reveal their identity. I wouldn't say they are shy or anything, but yeah, they don't want to reveal
they
their
they,
identity.
they want to keep it anonymous.
Yeah, anonymity while still being able to participate fully. How
Wow.
that is possible? Yeah, so that aspect is quite, I would say, a strong aspect of this. And the second is, as I said, there was some reputation tooling which you saw, right? So in that aspect, people are constantly exploring, innovating. In fact, Grail, the creators of Grail at Onchain Labs, we are helping them in exploring more things in the reputation aspect as well. Because reputation, although it sounds very simple, like that, hey man, just give an NFT to somebody who did a certain task. It's not that simple. uh, just imagine, if an NFT, if I got an NFT from a X DAO and I go to Y DAO, the standards change. How they perceive
Right.
me as a, right, everything will change. How do you tackle that? So there are tools which are taking care of such things like praise, and there are more tools. But
Okay.
there's a huge scope for exploration in this aspect. And then I would say one last third thing, which again we are sort of trying to cover, in we are sort of covering with Grail, is the tokenless governance part. Now, tokenless governance is
Okay.
something which has been talked about, like, for about a year, I guess, which
Okay.
has been talked about. So tokenless governance, even Vitalik Buterin had to say something about it in an article. I read that article a while back. So the thing is, it's the reasoning is very simple behind it. So token
Okay.
based governance, since the ecosystem is still new, token
Mm-hmm.
based governance was the first thing which was adopted, right? So token based
Okay.
governance can have some flaws to it. Now the flaws are basically that, let's say there's a wealthy person who just
Okay.
purchases a lot of tokens, right? So it beats the whole purpose of democratization, right?
Right.
So he can take a lot of power, right? So that is one major aspect in this tokenless.
Okay.
And the second is, uh, once tokens are introduced, who are the stakeholders and whoever is participating, they sort of try to look towards uh, monetary benefit rather than actual, you can say, the mission of the DAO. They start
Okay.
chasing the monetary benefit behind that, right?
So
So
tokenization is that's how it's not
yes,
helping, right?
yeah, like the
Okay.
tokenization is the first iteration, I would say, of
Okay.
how DAOs are operating, right? But
Okay.
the reason why we need to take it tokenless is because of these two reasons. Now,
Right.
what tokenless would mean is, at least in Grail, it means is, uh, it is through Polygon ID. It's happening through Polygon ID. It's happening through claims. Now,
Okay.
let's say what tokens represented in a DAO was that, let's say you want to prove that you have a certain credibility. How would you prove it? You'd prove it through your tokens, number of tokens, right?
Okay.
In a DAO. But what it needs to happen, the right way would be that there needs to be a proof that, okay, you, let's say you are a developer, and let's say you
Right.
are an investor, right?
Okay.
Now there needs to be a proof of these two things. uh, your number of tokens cannot tell, like, are you credible to vote on something, right?
Okay.
It does not tell anything actually. So that we have made possible through with the integration of Polygon DAO. We have made it possible because what happens with Polygon DAO is, Polygon ID is, sorry, Polygon DAO. What happens with Polygon ID is, once it works through zero knowledge proofs. So zero
Okay.
knowledge proof, to ones who do not know, a very simple explanation is, let's say Lakshay, you and there is one more person you are introducing me to, right?
Okay.
Now I trust you. I entirely trust
Okay.
you, right? You are a trusted party to me. Now you bring this
Okay.
new person. Now since I trust you, I'll also trust this person, right? That is the
Correct.
normal flow how humans work, right? So
Right.
what you will do is, you are bringing, let's say you are bringing a developer which I'm hiring, right? Now since I trust you, I
Okay.
will trust that developer because you have given him a claim that he's a good developer, right? He's a 2 years experienced developer or 3 years experienced developer, right? You have given him a claim and I trust that claim because it is coming through you, right?
Correct.
Now what Polygon ID helps us do is do the exact same thing through zero knowledge proofs. Now, Polygon ID can help us, basically in Grail. How we are working using it is,
Okay.
uh, let's say you have certain claims from some trusted parties in your Polygon wallet. You received certain claims, right?
Right.
Now you can come on to a DAO in Grail, which was launched in Grail, and you can basically participate only on basis of those claims without ever sharing any information, because zero knowledge provides that. You can tell me you are a developer without telling me your name or your background. That is actually possible through zero knowledge, right?
Okay.
So that's how it is working in Grail. And yeah, that's the whole aspect of tokenless governance. So I think
Right.
that answers these three areas. I think are the ones which are being constantly explored in DAOs.
I guess I have heard about like
Mhm.
people trying to focus towards investment DAOs a little more as well,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because somewhere it gives a more distributed system for companies and individuals to invest as well, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that
Mhm.
is like somewhere that's something which I
Indeed.
think
Mhm.
is also an industry which experts are
Mhm.
trying to innovate
Mhm.
towards or move towards.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
guess we have somewhere you have covered all that you can through this question.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and I just
Mhm.
added 1 point, so yeah, that's definitely good.
Indeed.
Uh,
Indeed. That's a valid point actually.
right.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead with the next question then.
Sure.
How long will it take until the time comes when DAOs replaces a large enterprise?
So it's very much similar to everything in Web3, right? How when comes the time when crypto will replace cash and things like that. But I think
Right.
this crypto replacing cash, this question is being asked very less at this point because people are seeing different utilities. But anyways, but yeah, the thing is, for DAOs to fully blossom, right, baby steps need to be taken. Because what's happening is, even in metaverse, right, even metaverse also will progress that way. Slowly people will start using it, interacting through metaverse, and they'll find attraction, and slowly it'll start to increase its reach. Similarly,
Correct.
DAOs also will work that way. What is a DAO? It's basically a group of people working together towards the same goal. That's what a DAO is, right? So it can be replicated at an enterprise level, and it
Okay.
also can be replicated at a very small group level. So let's say
Okay.
you are running, let's say, Oracle, the company. You are running Oracle,
Okay.
right? Now let's say you decided that a very small part and a very small aspect of that company, you want to make it highly collaborative, and you do
Right.
not want other stakeholders of the company Oracle to interfere in that, right?
Okay.
So the right way, this is the right, I would say, according to, in my mind, it is, this is the right entry point for people to start using, basically using this mechanism, to make that team as a DAO, make that team as a DAO, and start operating through that. Now what will
Okay.
happen is, if they find value, they'll replicate it in another team. These are called pods. Normally they'll replicate in pods, then larger teams, then the whole organization. So this overall stepwise approach towards building this ecosystem, this will happen over a period of time. It has just started, you can say 2-3 years, it has started to take place in several levels. Now it is slowly growing. You are seeing people, uh, like the famous ones, at least you might have heard about, like super team DAO and everything, right? People have heard
Mhm.
about, right? So now you are seeing a lot of activation is happening in this ecosphere. So yeah, this is how it will go. It will go very stepwise. Not It will not happen like the other day. Okay, Meta announced that they are a DAO now. It won't happen that. So yeah,
Right. It is a gradual progress, I
yes,
guess.
yes,
Yeah.
indeed,
Okay.
indeed.
So, how do you think, let's take, a company should go about it? Like, is there a stepwise procedure for it, or should they
Mhm.
follow?
Yes,
What do
yes.
you think about that?
How I see DAOs is like, at this point at least, they are running like an open community. Most of the times they are running it that way. DAOs are at least running
Okay.
that way. At least what I have seen. So what I think is the part where a lot of collaboration is needed, a part in their company, at least in the section where there is a lot of collaboration needed. Let's say the content creators of the company, right? They are just good content creators are put in place in a team, and they are
Correct.
super creative individuals. They know the vision of the company and everything. But what usually happens with creatives is that creative people is that their creativity gets hindered by higher ups, right? So
Okay.
what can be done is, this section can be converted into a DAO. This section can be converted into a DAO, and it can be operated that way. That can be one way of exploring this. uh,
Okay.
and and yeah, that's how I think a startup or a company, I think, should look at it. At least they should get their hands dirty, then they should scale it from there.
Okay. Okay. I guess that sounds perfectly. It's like follow one process, try to work
Mhm.
around it, how it works,
Yeah.
etc., and then try to move ahead with the other processes so that everything
Mhm.
falls in line in sync. Correct.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely, this is something which is very unique and different. So yeah, I feel
Mhm.
somewhere it
Mhm.
might help. Like I'll say, a revolution can come when small startups or MSMEs or small enterprises start doing it, and
Mhm.
possibly then maybe bigger teams can also pursue it.
Yes,
Right?
indeed. Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead with the next question, and I guess you have answered this one perfectly well.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go ahead with the next question.
Okay.
Right. Okay. How can a contributor start growing his or her career in DAOs?
Okay. I think this is a good question because first thing that comes into mind, at least. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
One second.
Um, So somewhere, Aman, you're dropping.
Okay, okay. One second.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we see that someone is certainly facing some technical glitches with the internet. No worries with that. Okay, I guess he's back
Yeah,
now.
I'm back.
Yes, he's back online. Right.
Yeah,
Yes, Aman, you were saying.
yeah. Sorry for that. Yeah. Yeah, so for a contributor to start contributing, so this is, I think this is what will build this ecosystem, right? This is what will
Okay.
build this entire ecosystem. So people should be looking in this direction. So how can somebody start? As I said initially, like the four steps which I said, like look towards your goals and start focusing on the DAOs which are fulfilling your goals. Now the thing is, now how do you normally go about finding, let's say, a normal job in the startup ecosystem or even in companies like large companies, right? You build your resume, right? You build your resume, you build your LinkedIn profile, and things like that happen, right? So very similarly, try to build reputation in DAOs as well. So
Okay.
reputation, right? Reputation. How can it be built? Explore where people are putting out jobs and putting out RFPs, requests for proposals, and participate in that. So a very good example is dwork.xyz. If you explore
Can you can you
dwork,
can you tell something more about RFP? What's an RFP?
so a request for proposal is basically something that either a DAO can put out that this needs to be built, has been decided through proposals. Right, this is a new proposal which is public. People can basically
Okay.
apply to that. You can sort of think like
Right.
that, right? So that is one way of looking at it. So
Right. Okay.
RFPs can be the point of interaction for people, point of start basically. So start building reputation. What will happen is when you start contributing, you will start uh, either getting some at least in dwork you have a dwork page now, and everything where you can see how much you have contributed and where. So this page can be entirely used as your LinkedIn profile, you can say, and way better actually. And
Okay.
also, second is, if you're a developer, a very good suggestion is to keep your GitHub very much active, because now you are not only depending on LinkedIn and your resume, you are actually depending on at least people who are running DAOs, right? They are
Right.
looking for real contributors. So if you have contributed, show that on GitHub. Do public projects. Do projects which are not just in a company, private projects. Do public projects, open source projects.
Mm-hmm.
So building your reputation through that, because I think dwork also and other places also, rabbit hole is there as well, which has integration with GitHub. I might be wrong, but yeah. So you can showcase your entire reputation through these places. Start building your reputation over there and start engaging in several DAOs. Start applying to RFPs and things like that you can do, right? So this is a you can say how somebody can look at how they can grow their career as a contributor in DAOs.
Okay. 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 This sounds perfectly. So it's basically engaging with the community more, trying to
Hmm.
explore more opportunities, trying to actually first I what I feel is
Hmm.
first figuring out which DAO is actually suitable for you. Right.
Exactly, exactly.
It's not that you can join every other
Mhm.
DAO because
Mhm.
it's not like
Yeah.
it's like a club in college,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
It's something you have to choose properly which DAO suits you. Is it growth related? Is it innovation related? Is it
Hmm.
product oriented, right?
Hmm.
So
Indeed.
choose your DAO first properly, understand that, and then probably the contribution to the career part comes in. But okay, that
Totally.
sounds perfectly well. Okay,
Hmm.
I guess we have the last question for today, which we
Okay.
have prepared. Okay,
Okay.
and
Hmm.
post this, we might have some questions which the community has. So first, let's
Sure.
go with this. How I won't say how difficult it is to start. I'll say how easy it is to start. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, uh, so starting a DAO is like a lot of people are naming themselves DAO just by starting a Discord. You can do that too, right? So, right, there's nothing wrong. But the thing is, the DAO, at least starting some action, building a DAO is very much like building your own startup, building your own, even you can say an active community. If you are in a community direction, moving in a community direction,
Right.
or if you are building something like Build Guild, which is also a DAO, which is working towards just development. They develop for
Okay.
other and they develop their own projects as well, right? So if you're working that or working in the community direction, anyways,
Mm-hmm.
you are basically building a company in a sense. So it is
Okay.
very much like that. So the analogy would be very similar to, you can get your company registered, which is fine, but to build that company, to grow that company is the real deal. So I would say, go about, first of all, find a mission. What is, what will be the mission behind a DAO, right? What is your
Right.
vision and your mission? Exactly how
Right.
you what you choose before you start a company, right?
Okay.
First you should have a mission. Now you need people, right? You need people who want, who are in alignment with that mission, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you look for people, you build a community. At least right now that's how it's working. So you build a community first. You find people who have a similar mindset, right?
Right.
Now you saw a lot of community tool, a lot of DAO tools which I listed there. Now you start figuring out which ones do you need, and start set up shop basically, right? You start
Correct.
setting up shop, and then you need to sort of establish where do you need to take it. At least you need to have goals, right, of this company that you are building. You need to have goals. You need to have quarterly or yearly goals or whatever, right?
Correct.
You said that and you also, everybody who is actively working, they need funding, right? You need to
Right.
also define funding goals. And
Correct.
there's a lot of people who are helping in that arena as well, like grants DAO and investment DAO, as we are
Mm-hmm.
talking about it, right? So build those goals. Now start acting, and now start, figuring out, taking action. At least, and taking action, it means you need governance. You need how to take decisions. You need to know, uh,
Distribution of power, I'll say.
yeah, uh, distribution of power, but you need rules, right? You need rules in the
Okay.
way decisions will be taken, right?
Correct.
So set those rules. Now those rules can be set either through smart contracts or without smart contracts. People are very easily implementing off-chain voting as well, right? So
Okay.
something like snapshot or grail can be used for that, right? So what will happen is, if you have set rules, you can
Right.
simply start operating through through those rules. And you need to set some repeated cadence for your
Right.
DAO to operate in, because it should not be like, because how normally any unorganized community works is like this. Somebody has an idea, okay, everybody's hyped about that idea. No, it does not work like that,
Right.
right? Everything needs to go through a certain process. And by process I mean, let's say I fix a call every Wednesday. This will be a
Correct.
governance call for this DAO, right? on
Okay.
that on that DAO there will be a fixed agenda, and through that agenda a proposal will come out. It should be that simple, and it should operate
Right.
through that, right? So no distractions will be happening, right? So these few things can be steps where you can start building a DAO. Now this is me seeing how DAOs are working, and of course I'm building a company as well. So yeah, this is just me mixing both of them, and this is how I would go about building a DAO, is the
Right.
right way to.
Understood.
Yeah. Mhm.
I guess, having a personal experience or perspective,
Mhm.
gives a better understanding to anyone rather than, like learning through a book or a playbook,
Mhm.
whatever's there.
Mhm.
And the way you have put it forth, somewhere it helps me also to understand, like, if possibly, if
Mhm.
I'll try to open a DAO or something like that, it
Mhm.
gives me a step by step procedure. Okay, this has to be done, this has to be done, and then
Mhm.
that this has to be done, right? So yeah, definitely,
Mhm.
Aman, that's something which has given me a little, I'll say, deeper understanding on how
Mhm.
DAOs can be implemented. So
Mhm.
thanks to you for that. And I
Yeah.
guess we are done with the first
Mhm.
segment of the questions. Okay,
Mhm.
we have
Yeah.
a few questions from the community as well. Okay, from
Sure.
the YouTube audience. Okay, so let's
Mhm.
go with that first. Okay,
Okay.
so can we have the first question on the screen? How does the DAO and their investors make money?
So right now, the way it is working is through tokens. So first it's tokens, and also there are people who monetize things differently, right? So token is there which appreciates over time. Governance token is there which appreciates over time, of course, how exclusive a DAO is becoming. And the
Right.
second is, is, for example, Build Guild. It has a monetization, right? So people come to Build Guild or whatever such DAOs who wants to get their project built and everything. I might as well start an InSync now, right? And it will sort of serve like very similar to how others are working, right? I will
Right.
be monetizing through whatever I'm making while building products for people,
Correct.
and that monetization will be spreaded into the members of the DAO, right? So
Okay.
that's one way of looking at it. So there are two aspects, right? One is very much similar to how companies work, the shares and then monetization policy of the company, right? So the
Okay.
shares will appreciate over time, and there needs to be a monetization. Similarly, in DAOs also, the tokens will appreciate over time, and there needs to be a monetization of how the DAO will
Okay.
make money, right? So this is how DAOs and investors are making money as of now.
Okay, okay, this sounds understandable, but somewhere I feel the tokenization aspect is a little, not so value driven. Okay, because not
Mhm.
every
Oh.
token can offer
Mhm.
the value that it might be stating to offer. Okay,
Mhm.
might be
Mhm.
because I guess somewhere when you mentioned earlier that
Yes.
Vitalik was also talking about the same thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because tokenization might be a good understanding and a good
Mhm.
concept to go ahead with, but
Mhm.
giving that value in return also has a potential importance, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
companies and DAOs definitely need to understand that tokenization is good. Definitely it helps in
Mhm.
incentivizing, distributing properly, gamifying the whole concept, but
Yes.
maybe they need to uh, bring that value also what they're trying to state that we provide. Correct.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's
Indeed.
there.
Indeed.
Right.
Indeed. Yeah.
Correct. Okay,
Exactly.
I guess this goes well. Let's go ahead with the next question for today. Can DAOs be used to replace governments in near future?
Interesting question. I think it can be, but governments won't allow it because it's so perfect for now. I guess so. But this is just a funny side note. But I think so. Governments, as I said, I wouldn't say near future. It's too
Yeah,
near.
no, obviously not near future. I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
top
Yeah.
players would let anyone be there,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Definitely not. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe 15 years, 20
Yeah.
years down the line,
Yeah,
who knows?
there can be explorations into this as well, because it what's happening here is every DAO is, if you involve tokens and everything, right? Every DAO
Yeah,
or every such ecosystem is an economy in itself, right?
correct.
So right, so yes, it theoretically it can replace governments, but I would not say in the near future. At least yeah, maybe in 10, 15, 30 years, maybe some exploration starts happening, maybe. Yes.
Okay, okay. This is good. Okay, for today we have the only last question that's there. Okay,
Sure.
from the community. Let's go with that. What are the most probable use cases of a DAO you would recommend to a budding entrepreneur?
Hmm. Probable use cases. I think I think you should be thinking about it very similar to how you think about building a company, right? Because
Okay,
first of all, I would say if you are building a DAO, if you are initiating a DAO, I would
right,
say you should be clear on what you want to do. By you want to do, I mean, let's say you want to start a company. Let's say you have an idea of building a developer tool, right? You
right.
have an idea of building a a software that developers use. Build that software, but build it with a DAO. As simple as that. Build an organization while building an organization behind it. Build a DAO behind it. It's very
So
much similar to
building a DAO, that by that you mean just implementing the concepts on how a DAO
exactly.
works,
It's
right?
exactly what you're saying. It's eventually a mechanism. DAO is just a
Exactly. Okay.
mechanism, how things will
Right.
work, right?
Right.
It's just that decentralization enables some enforcement into it, of rules and everything, right? And exactly that. So yeah, you should go about it how you would be looking at a building a company. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about building something in the Web3 ecosystem, It's very much like you would think about. So think about this. Find use cases which you would build a product around, a Web3 product around, and then build a
Okay.
DAO behind it. As simple as that.
Well, okay. I guess it's only around executing the mechanism,
Mm. Yes,
right? If you get
yes,
that correct, I guess the procedure also comes, like in
exactly,
a good progressive manner. Correct.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
I guess this answers it all. You know, I guess we have had good questions today. We have had a good run through in the past 1.5 hours. Okay.
Mhm,
And I guess it's totally panning out really well. Okay. We started, with your introduction, with your journey, how it began,
mhm,
and how you're working with Polygon DAO, on-chain labs, the whole Grail concept that you have been, putting
mhm,
in, and then we had your whole presentation. So definitely, it has been a very enthusiastic conversation I had with you today. Lots of learnings today, definitely, which I got from you. Okay,
oh,
but what do you think? How has it been for you throughout the session today? How has it been for you working with us? Okay, in the
mhm,
past whole week, because
mhm,
we are working towards a more not only this event, but we will be working towards more partnerships and all. Okay,
mhm,
possibly in the
mhm,
near future you'll be also
mhm.
listing your jobs here and there,
Indeed,
right?
indeed. Mhm,
Yes. So
mhm.
what do you think about the whole session we had today,
Yeah.
with everything
So,
that's going on?
first of all, I love this experience, and the way you have organized it. It's very, you and the team behind it. They have done it in a very seamless manner that uh, no difficulties are faced on my end or on your end. And everything. Its process is very much set, and the vibe that you have created, even backstage and on stage, is it's really awesome.
Definitely.
So my experience is really great over here, and of course, Web3 is something which I can just go on talking about, and being a Web3, core representative of Web3. Even the backstage conversation was really fruitful, I would say. So
Oh
yeah,
yes,
really, really awesome experience for me.
we should have actually brought some topics from there when we were talking about how it might become a change that people would start working in cryptocurrencies in the
Yeah,
everyday life,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And the downfall of maybe some ecosystems around the world and acceptance of
Sure.
blockchain, right?
Yes.
So definitely,
Hmm.
I see that as a potential opportunity definitely coming in. But yes, I totally respect that you love the aura that we set and we worked
Hmm.
with you. Okay.
Hmm.
Any last comments, closing comments, would you want to put forth?
Last comments would be, I think, Web3 as an ecosystem has a lot to grow, a lot to build. This is the right time to build because things which were in the hype are going down. It's actually good. It removes distraction. So
Correct.
it removes distraction. It focuses the builder, right?
Right.
So try finding out good use cases, real use cases. Try finding out people with which you can brainstorm, people like me, people like Lakshya, with which you can brainstorm ideas, right?
Right.
Right. So try finding such people and just start building now because once another cycle comes, you should be
Yeah.
on the forefront, right?
No, definitely. Like I guess, like I totally agree with what you've said. It's like
Mhm,
currently I feel there's a good audience, there's a good community, not
mhm,
putting forth that any company or any DAO in place.
mhm,
I guess
mhm.
people are now wanting to build. It's like more
Yes,
on building a product, building something valuable, right?
yes.
It
Mhm,
must, it might have been an effect of the winter, like crypto winter or whatever we are calling
mhm,
it right now. It
mhm,
might have been an effect of that, but definitely there's some sort of proper product building innovation happening, right?
mhm.
So yeah, I definitely I agree to you on that, and I hope you had a great and wonderful time today.
Yep.
Okay. It was amazing from my side. I have always had good conversations with you. Let be off
Mhm.
stage when we were whole preparing the whole stuff,
Yeah.
and today as well. But yes, thank you Aman and the InSync Studios team to work with us on the whole thing.
Mhm.
Let's announce our partnership real soon on, and
Yep.
let's get things started in a
Mhm.
perfect manner. Okay.
Indeed, indeed.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming today, Aman. It was an honor. Like amazing time having with you.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Aman. Okay, I guess we are here almost at the end of today's event, and I hope you had a very enriching and very a good amount of learning session today. Definitely, I had learned a good bunch of topics from Aman today, and understanding how building DAOs and being around them, is definitely something I can take back from today. With that, okay, I'd like to extend my gratitude towards the InSync Studios team as well as Aman for coming today and sharing their knowledge. Okay, adding on to that, I believe if you guys have, like, I'll just repeat, if you guys have been watching this stream from anywhere, let's say YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn, okay, come on to the Recurrum app, okay, and log in, connect your wallet, and get a chance to apply to jobs, and even claim your POAP NFTs, okay, because we have definitely something great brewing for you in the next 2 months, where you would be getting incentivized to attend these events and also to apply for jobs. So definitely come on through with that. I'd also like to acknowledge our partners and sponsors for today. Okay, so thank you to them as well. And with that, okay, I'm Lakshya Mittal. I hope you had a nice evening today. Thank you, and let's end the talk today.